Tim Ferris is the author of The 4-Hour Workweek, but he's also written The 4-Hour Chef, The 4-Hour Body, and he's about to come out with a new book. He has a CNN show. He's got a lot of stuff going on. In this video, I want to run through the question, can you still achieve a 4-hour workweek, right? Are the things that Tim Ferris wrote about in his book, because it's been almost 10 years now, are they still possible to achieve? And also, I'm going to give you the 3 productivity strategies that he goes over in that book, and also talk about how we're implementing them here at Experiment 27. Tim Ferriss's rule number 1 is outsource as much as possible. Tim is known as the outsourcing king. He's the one who basically made this a thing that everyone likes to do, virtual assistants and the like. His theory is that in order to run a scalable business that supports a 4-hour work week, right, that makes it so that you don't have to work very much, you're going to have to hire a lot of people to do the work that you're doing. Tim outsourced to countries overseas like the Philippines. I've tested that as well. It works really well. But you can also use this as hire as much as possible. Similar to that Grant Cardone video, outsource as much work as you possibly can, and it'll reduce the amount of time you have to spend on your business. So that was number 1. Tim Ferriss's rule number 2 is fire clients that aren't worth the effort. When Tim decided to create his 4-hour workweek originally, he was running this supplement business, and he had a lot of big clients. But what he realized when he did an analysis was all of his revenue and the customers that he spent the least amount of time on support calls with were the same people. So he decided to take those customers, which he said it was about 20% of his customers were generating 80% of his revenue, which is the Pareto principle, which he also popularized, but comes from another book. So he fired the other 80% of his customers, got rid of them, and focused only on those 20% and growing those and finding customers similar to that, which basically means fire clients that aren't worth your time. If you look at your business, you know that it's true. You know there's clients that are taking up a bunch of your time, that are always emailing back and forth, wasting your account manager's time, that aren't delivering money. I know in my experience, the ones that go back and forth the most are the ones that actually pay the least, and you end up seeing the least results for because they try to micromanage and break your process. So firing those clients will help you save a bunch more time on your business as well. Tim Ferriss's rule number 3 is spend a lot of time thinking and reading. I was talking to my co-founder yesterday about now that we have all these people working underneath us, we both have a lot more downtime. We used to be working 120-hour weeks or however that stacks up, like nonstop working. And now we can work, a more comfortable, like maybe 40, 50-hour week. And I was saying like, all right, what do we do with all this downtime now? And he recommended something similar to what Tim Ferris does, which is think a lot about the business, right? Try to get above it all and see the bigger picture. Read a lot of books by your mentors, biographies, and that sort of thing, which is amazing. And then the last one that Tim Ferris does a lot of is every time Tim Ferris wants to answer a question, he'll read a book and then he'll email the author. Jesse Itzler also talked about this. He'll email the author and try to meet with them. And that's what I'm going to try to do too. But that's key, right? Because once you outsource as much as possible and everyone's doing the work and you fire the clients that aren't bugging you, you're going to have a lot more downtime, and you can use that to either maintain your business like Tim Ferris did, where he became like a dancing champion, Argentinian tango champion, or he learned to cook. Like he's using the 4 hours that he's working, the extra hours, he's using that extra time to better himself as a person. You can also use that time though to grow your business. Right? Mark Cuban's a big fan of this, right? Like outsourcing as much of one business as possible so you can work on the next business. I also talked about this in the Arnold Schwarzenegger video, how he went from commercial real estate to acting because he had already set up that base in commercial real estate. So that's the third one. And in conclusion, I think you can still achieve a 4-hour work week. My work week is maybe 40 hours, maybe a little bit less than that. I've got 11 employees underneath us. I still think it's possible. Follow those 3 steps and let me know how it's going in the comments. How much are you actually working? If you looked at it, how much are you actually working? And let's say you had to reduce your work to about 4 hours a week, right? Like let's say you got sick or something and you could only work 4 hours. What systems would you have to implement to make that a reality? Leave that down in the comments. I'd love to know. If you like this type of video, subscribe for more B2B sales training and breakdowns. Like this video to encourage this type of content. And if you need marketing support for your digital agency, check out experiment27.com. Thanks.